And this ice form thing is definitely working out for us so far here. So it's nice to have gotten that online right before making our way this direction. 7-headed Hydra. Oh boy. So yeah, this is where we run into some troubles because we don't have any AC, and AC is the best deterrent for Hydra hits since they hit many times for smaller numbers. You have more opportunities to roll well. Fortunately, cold damage will slow the Hydra, but our beast just cannot keep up with it. What else do we have at our disposal? We have a few different wands. We gained disintegration at some point, so that's pretty good. I keep calling it disintegration. That's the old me. The new me is mind burst. That one's tempting at 3d18. I mean, you still have a whole lot of health. Take multiple hits. Unfortunately, we might just have to run away from this one, but on the flip side of that, fortunately, we can run away all we'd like. Can't you employ our all poison vapors trick just because the Hydra is resistant to said poison, unfortunately, but it's not the end of the world by any stretch of the imagination. Oh, you caught up to me, hey? That's not cool. Thought I'd lost you. Hopefully we've lost them this time. So we don't want to run into another problem here and then come face to face with a Hydra while trying to escape. So that's 2 7-headed Hydras. Very cool game. Very exciting. Not at all upsetting. We'll pick up the Ring of Ice while we're here. And is there anything else for us? At least another enemy to vanquish here, and that does give us some much needed experience. Plus, greed is good, so gold is always good in my books. Felid seems to be always on you cannot fight recklessly, definitely. Just constant high awareness mode. So yeah, I compared it to being a Chafe follower earlier, but I almost feel like in general, or the way, another thing that it shares with the Chafe follower is that it's really good practice in general for careful play. I think it puts you into the right mindset to be more cautious, and then if you apply this kind of play style to a stronger species or an easier species, I think that it would pay huge dividends and you'll end up winning a lot more games. I don't have the patience to play quite like this for each and every run we go into, but it's definitely fun every once in a while to get into it, get some really good concentration out, make sure you're just getting that like cool, highly focused game for sure. And thank you so much, Shaper Dreaming, for the happy birthday. Also, I appreciate the follow a whole lot. Welcome to the show here. I do hope you enjoy it. And I hope that you're having a great day as well. We feel an oppressive heat around us. Interesting. Volcano, huh? Oh wow, and for the subscription as well, Shaper Dreaming. I appreciate that as well. That's absolutely huge. Thank you. And thanks for the happy birthday from Dicey8s as well. I'm very glad that I appreciate the YouTube videos. I definitely love hearing from both sides of the equation here on Twitch and on YouTube as well. So that's awesome. Maybe play a Minotaur of Trog when you have a minute, just tab to victory, right? Have a bit of a nice mix-up of things instead of being constantly in this. Definitely if you ever start to feel mentally fatigued, it might be good to just do a quick switch over, save the game temporarily, and head over to a slightly more straightforward run at the very least. Shaper, you've been watching my stuff offline, so you want to say thanks with the sub? Got around to keep up the amazing work? Well, no, thank you so much. I definitely very much appreciate the sub, of course, but also just your attention and time. I'm glad that you're watching offline, and absolutely heartwarming to hear it. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever time it is. See you around in the future, maybe. Or not, and that's cool too. Okie dokie, able to take these yaks off one at a time. Definitely the ideal situation. And last one, we can bring in some friends. Oh, dang it, her 5-headed Hydra. Can I take a 5-headed Hydra? Let's bring in 2 friends. Go ice form so that we gain some AC as well. This does bring us up to 11 AC, which I wasn't fully taking notice of earlier, so that is pretty huge. We also just got the upgrade to our fur. It got slightly longer here, so that's pretty awesome. I think this is the one that gives us an extra bit of cold resistance too. It does. We have AC +3 now, and resistance to cold innately, so that's pretty awesome. Will actually allow us to more safely equip the Ring of Fire, which is probably what we'll be doing in just a split second here. So let's switch off. Maybe our wizardry? How's our casting? Oof, not great. It's getting there still, slowly but surely. But yeah, we will probably want to switch off one of our rings for some fire resistance if we even end up going in here. I'm a little bit torn about it in general. Ice Beast will be slaughtered probably by any enemies we come across. Ice Form also gives us vulnerability. Definitely, Koval, I agree, yeah, that peeking in shouldn't be too much of a problem at the very least. So let's switch over to that. Let's take a look. Ooh, okay, it's the collapsing volcano. So this is one where the longer we wait here, different sections of this will close off to us and we'll no longer be able to access them. I'm seeing some gold. There is a mutation potion that we don't necessarily need. I guess first things first, let's take a step onto the safe space. Perfect. Then, let's follow that up by a quick check on the fire elemental, up to 15 fire damage. They are susceptible to cold though, so we do have a bit of an interesting fight on our hands if we just bring in some friends. Let's do it. Let's see how these two fare, and all of us ganging up together. But there we go. We see our first collapse happened up top there, so we can no longer access that treasure trove any longer. Let's check down here real quick. Bring in another friend. In fact, against an earth elemental, up to 40 damage. Oof. That hurts. We could go Ice Form is essentially what I was thinking. Give us a little bit more defensive capability, a little bit more of a 1-2 punch on the offensive side of things too. But that buddy hits real hard. Yes, do you have infinite will? You do. Gosh darn it. And 45 health is not quite as low as we might like. You're fire neutral with the ring, right? Not too bad with the shaggy fur here. It does give us an out. So we didn't end up taking anything. But I might just get out of here. I don't know if it's even worth it to fight this earth elementalist. Or elemental, rather. I mean, we could try and just run away. Because we can outpace it. Because it is very slow. In fact, I'm going to try. And let's try and get access to one more room here. So on this side of things, we have a gargoyle, which is a little bit tough, but we do have some mind burst. So we are able to get past that AC number pretty straightforwardly. A stone arrow going up to 36. So not a one shot yet. That's not bad. The game thinks it's easy. That's interesting, right? Sometimes you can't fully trust the auto sorting in that regard, because I would not agree with that assessment personally, but maybe that's just me. No, definitely are easier to hit and have lower health, so I get that side of things. Also, hello friends. There are more of you than I expected. Let's instead maybe head down here. We'll pick up some gold. We'll even fight this gargoyle real quick. Pick up. Pick up. Oh crap. Failed casting that. That's not great. Let's try that one more time, shall we? And here's where we probably just get out of here. It's worth a shot. We got a little bit of gold. Tiny scraps. I was kind of hoping to head up and grab that cancellation potion, but this room looks real scary for us. Especially an Ifrit here. Absolutely no good. Fireball is undodgeable, and so we do not want to get in a fight with that buddy unless we absolutely have to. So we didn't get a lot, but we didn't lose a lot either. We didn't have to use up any of our valuable resources. We can just get the heck out of there. no matter what, that's a volcano that you don't end up getting very many upgrades out of, just because you have to be super fast in order to hit every single one of the hallways. I guess not only fast, but you have to be very lucky as well, because if you manage to go for the ones kind of in the order that they collapse, then you're golden and you'll probably be able to hit all 6 or however many there are total. But yeah, you were saying, Koval, that you had never seen that setup before, and that's one of my favorite volcanoes just for themes. Like, sure, the giant lava lake with a castle in the middle, pretty cool looking, don't get me wrong. But I find that that one's very unique, and that's what I like about it. Stuff that makes you have to employ new strategies, have to weigh out, like, oh, I just barely see this cool item here, and I can peek out and see some weapons here. Do I want weapons, or do I want potions? And you can kind of make a mental calculus. Of course, trying to get both, but you never know. So I find that super fun. Entering a time portal and not dying is a minor victory. Oh, definitely. I'd agree with that. Especially all these portals that could end up one-shotting us in a horrifying way. Is there any real bonuses for getting high-level transmutation? Like longer duration doesn't seem too helpful. So yeah, it depends on the transmutation spell. Something like, actually ice form to a lesser degree, but definitely statue form. The higher your spell power is, the... Oops. Don't like that. Don't like that one bit. I was hoping to drop Nurgle down a hole, but... Dang it. What? A spectral orc fell down the shaft? No, you son of a gun. Well, in that case, let's poison Nurgle. And run. Poison Nurgle. And one more time. But yeah, statue form gains more AC to a high degree. Sorry, got very distracted in my thoughts there as we immediately ran into some trouble. But yeah, we fully were able to test that by the difference between wielding a Staff of Earth to cast statue form and not using it was something like a difference of 3 AC. So it's not a huge difference, but definitely does add up over time, especially on a squishier run like this. Hello, Nurgle. Let's just poison you a couple more times here. And Stormform gets more AC from spell power as well. That's good to know. Because, as mentioned earlier, yeah, I've never had the opportunity to actually try out Stormform. Oh gosh, that's a lot of spectral buddies. Well, probably just going to reset this fight. That's fine. And just run upstairs, get back all of our magic points, and let's head in fresh eyes without all of the spawns in the way. Of course, the summon there is durably summoned, so it's not gonna give up quite so easily, but we can take it out real quick. And then let's bring in friends. Ooh, I miscast Ice Form. That's not great. In that case, I will probably do another little retreaty-roo. And let's try this again, shall we? Let's do this one more time. There you are. A 6 dagger flaming. Oh, that's why you're killing all of my ice beasts. Oh, and I also have my resistance, or my ring of fire rather, still equipped. So let's finish off this buddy with that, and then immediately switch back to our ring of wizardry, and that will save ourselves from those miscasts that we were getting hit with. I kind of forgot about that aspect of things. Not something you want to forget about in the middle of combat, to say the least. Another spell book, though. Don't mind if I do. What do we find here? Oh, a bunch of snakes, and we're marked. Oh no. It's the Book of Stone. Interesting. I'm going to pick this up. Snakes are being distracted temporarily. I think we just got to get out of there. And let's try another stairway, shall we? That's 2 different alarm traps that have absolutely screwed us. You know, maybe that's being a little melodramatic because we are alive. So how screwed could we possibly have been, really? Let's get some cold damage in ourselves here. Take the form of our friends. You know how pets and their owners start to look alike after a time? You seeing what I'm seeing here? could be onto something. Okie dokie. Blink frogs are a little bit of a pain here. Let's bring in one friend, but I'm much happier bringing them upstairs and dealing with them 2 by 2 instead of in their large masses. Where did you go? Oh, it must have died at some point. I thought it blinked out of there. Got any good spells from that book? I wasn't actually paying enough attention, so that's a good question. Did give us statue form. Oh my gosh. Unless I missed it earlier, which is very likely as well, but statue form. Heck yeah, bud. That is exactly what we want out of this right now. I mean, so far everything is fairly castable at our current position, at least with the wizardry ring, which isn't going to be around forever, but it is for the time being. So let's stop training air magic, and instead I want to start training earth magic up a little bit here. We should definitely, or not definitely necessarily, but it would be a good idea at the very least to start training some translocations at some point. I had forgotten that we get a +4 in the aptitude, so it shouldn't be too hard, especially to get something like Blink down to a 1% fail rate. It should be a snap, all things considered. And even passage to Galubria probably isn't too far off for us. But I want to get that statue form up as soon as we possibly can here. Oh, it blinked into the dispersal trap. That really threw me for a loop for a moment. Whenever there are cascading reactions in this game, it can be really hard sometimes to follow along, especially if it's something that's slightly more novel, at least for you as an individual, like that was for me. Never been in that exact scenario before, but not too bad here. Things are definitely going so much more smoothly than they were in the dungeon between floors. Like, is curing worth it? Yeah, I think I will cure real quick. But the dungeon floors from like 5 to 8 were an absolute nightmare, and now we're definitely at least able to fight things, so that's nice, right? We're not running away from everything like we used to, just occasionally running away from things. Much better. Okie dokie. Now I've all the pressure back on, because now that we've found statue form, we've been given the keys to the kingdom. We just have to unlock the door. Have to survive long enough to do that. 8-headed Hydra. Oof. Like, I don't think so. I don't think that works out for us in any way, shape, or form. So I'm gonna run back here. What was here? Here's the entrance to Snake. Okay. Let's just go upstairs. We have one more unexplored stairwell that we can take a peek down, and it is in the opposite corner, which is awesome. The question here becomes, do I want to corner myself? No, I'll probably just bring in an Ice Beast friend to help take some of the load here in terms of how many enemies we have to fight at once. Perfect. Excuse me, sir. I was hoping that they wouldn't notice me, but it's not the end of the world. Also, suddenly my eye got very dry. If anything bad happens in the near future, I'm just going to blame it completely on that. It's beautiful to have a infallible source of blame in the backup. In fact, I should always just pretend to be injured all the time so that I have excuses for my own stupidity instead of people realizing that this is just the real me. But we've managed to pick up, well, are about to pick up another potion of magic, which is awesome. I mean, one of the huge advantages to Gozeg as a spellcaster is that you can always keep potion petitioning for the chances at granting yourself a magic potion anyway, but it's nice to have some innately in the back pocket here that aren't chance-based, and we can just quickly pick up our spellcasting ability wherever necessary. Black Mamba's in an absolute pain in the rear, but taking him out slowly but surely. Dang it, 8-headed Hydra, and it sees me, unfortunately. I mean, Okay, we only have 3 ice blasts. Probably like 70 health. Yeah, 71. Can mind burst you a couple times, ping you off, finish you off with the flame maybe. Let's try it out. Our chance to effect was only 30%. That's probably not good enough. So instead, let's start with an ice blast. Did not do great there. I will actually do one more mind blast. Ooh. The 8-headed Hydra's minds are blasted. That is a fantastic piece of flavor text. I don't know if I've ever mind bursted a Hydra before, because I do love that. I think back when we first started playing DCSS, there was a discussion at one point about how concussions would work with a Hydra, like whether the cognitive functions of the brain are shared between all heads, or if just one head carries the larger proportion of that. So do you just have to hit a certain head more specifically, or does it kind of equally affect all of them to a lesser extent than hitting the head of a human being, for example? These are the questions we've got to ask ourselves. It should do more damage the more heads. I think that's a brilliant idea. That would be a really fun piece of flavor, first of all, which is great, and I can't imagine it would be too poorly balanced. I mean, it allows you to have a wand that, if found, is specifically a designated Hydra killer, and it's kind of cool because it's a slightly different function than Mind Blast normally functions as, which is an anti-armor class weapon. Enemies with low willpower and high armor class, you definitely want to blow their minds, but I think that would be a whole lot of fun. Stormform scales harder than most, but most forms don't. Yeah, no, just barely off the spell power. One shot the 27 Hydra, the Liernin. I guess maybe when you put it that way, it might be a little strong, but not really the be-all end-all, because at the end of the day, the Liernin Hydra dies to a Phantom Mirror pretty much every time, if not every time. Ah, hello friend, you're back. Well, we wasted a bunch of resources on you last time and then had to bail, so that's not great. We could check with a polymorph. Become a shining eye, a snapping turtle, or a ghost moth? No, I refuse. That's a flat out no from me, for sure. Absolutely horrible options. I mean, a shining eye, we would get a little mutated, maybe be able to take it out at the very least. It's a bit squishier than some of those other ones, but a ghost moth would be almost a death sentence. I kind of forgot for a moment that we can see invisible, but still, at the end of the day, I don't think I'm quite happy with that lineup of potential changes. Hello friends, let's just take some of you upstairs and can slow the frog as soon as possible. Perfect. I don't think there were too many enemies waiting for us at the bottom. No, that's at least manageable here. Perfect. Heal back up. Trying our very best not to lose any lives here. Even with our poison resistance, a little bit got through. Tough stuff. And hopefully the final trip down, but who's to say? Well, let's bring in some summons so I don't have to chase down the blink frogs. Perfect. Ah, an ice drake. Fun. Not too bad. Slowly but surely eking our way. This has definitely been slightly harder for these last couple of floors of Blair, but still at least manageable, and that's pretty huge. I guess going to ice form does give us full cold resistance, so that does seem fairly advantageous in that situation. Should maybe use that a bit more often. So often when I see a cold enemy, my gut instinct is to not change over, because then we are going to be dealing reduced damage. At the end of the day, if it causes us to take reduced damage to a much greater extent than it reduces our output, then it's definitely worth the shot. Hello, friends. Let's use you as body blockers from the electric eel. That's all I really care about here. Bring in some friends. Ouch. Yeah, 2d, 13, and 26. So they're equal damage in their bite and harpoon shot, and we're not looking to be in a great spot right now. It's funny how quickly things can go downhill. We were sitting pretty for so long that I kind of forgot how careful we needed to be, which is the classic focus requirement for these kinds of runs. But we could reach into our pockets with a potion petition, hope for some heals. It is fairly likely that at least one of them will be a heal of some form or another. Alternatively, we do have healing potions. I mean, one of the nice things about being a Felid and your extra lives is even if you don't intend to give away a life, it allows you to take certain risks, because here we normally maybe want to go for heal wounds just straight out, make sure we survive, or go straight to blinking even maybe. But instead we have the option to do something like potion petition. If it's all crap, we might die. We'll come back to life at least this once. As much as I don't want to lose any of my lives early, at the end of the day, it's better than nothing. So let's do a potion petition here. We do get a heal wounds for nice and cheap, so I'm going to just pop that on immediately. And then we are going to run away. Well, our ice beast keeps that buddy busy. Perfect. Let's run back upstairs. We can just fully heal up, go take on that bog body in top ship shape position. Perfect. And of course, one more electric eel here. And awesome. Me oh my. A couple of near-death experiences. Ain't nothing for a cat with 9 lives, I guess. At least we're making our way towards 9 lives. Get there eventually. And you know what? We've gained a lot of identify scrolls, so it's about time that we did some of the back-end work here. Can get one potion. I want to know what the big stack was, just in case it was something useful that could have saved our life. And Scroll of Fog is not too bad. Let's keep going with the scroll side of things. Brand Weapon is absolutely useless for us, but it's kind of nice because it means that we don't have to carry stuff around. One of the big silver linings with any of these characters that aren't able to equip quite as many slots, and especially for the Felids that have it to the absolute extreme, don't have to worry about inventory management nearly as much as on other characters. So that's nice. We're even likely to never have to empty our inventory, because it depends on how many fancy rings we end up carrying. But the extension of that is that we can carry a whole bunch of fancy rings. We can have a full suite of resistances that we can swap in and out of at some point. So that's always pretty sweet. Another Scroll of Blinking is a godsend at this stage. And keep her going. Dazzling Helmet. Dang, that's disappointing. For how ridiculously difficult Layer 4 was, this is pretty wild. At least as much of a cakewalk as you get in the game. But I will take whatever we can get. I should be careful about tempting fate with statements like that. There we go, cleared down to Layer 5. We still haven't lost any lives yet. That is absolutely fantastic. And now, we can make some decisions. I'll probably head straight out to the dungeon again before we head into Swamp or Snake. Snake is going to be interesting. If we get constricted, it's going to be very brutal. But if we can avoid that, we're so much faster than the Naga are that we can escape almost any situation. And we're almost as fast as a lot of the snakes, so we don't have to worry quite so much about how much ground we would lose in our attempts to retreat in that kind of situation. Regardless for the time being, let's go back out to D10, shall we? Maybe run into one of the Hydras? Apparently not. That's not too bad. Let's see. probably still not ready to take on this vault. Banishment, obviously always a concern. But the wizard and the two-headed ogre, we can do our like retreat and poison as we go technique. Maybe not quite what we were looking for. Statue form is down to 56% failure rate. It's getting there. But instead, let's maybe head downstairs. This one has centaurs galore. I guess I should have done a check on this one too. It's nearby, but maybe slightly better. Let's pop around this corner. Bring in some friends. Plus, let's step in and change ourselves to ice too, and that should be just about good. Perfect. We're in a much stronger position than we were the last time we came to this exact locale. So let's try our best to take advantage of that and see how much more of this dungeon we can explore. Hello, friend. Don't mind me just dancing around your corpse a little bit. My bad. Perfect. Should find our orc entrance on this floor too, so that would be fairly solid. Any thoughts on opening a shop? So yeah, shops are always a fairly interesting thing with Gozag. I know a lot of people swear off them completely because why spend anything in a shop that might be good instead of spending it on bribes in the future, something like that. With the additional statement, I think for most of those people even, that if you are desperate for a resistance, if you really need something, then you might as well try and open a shop, you know, get that poison resistance or something that you're absolutely desperate for and you're dying everywhere that you try and go kind of deal. But I know a lot of people, for the most part, don't like to open shops besides that. I definitely find myself a little bit more generous in that regard, because I enjoy the loot box aspect and I love seeing what can possibly show up in shops. And so I can't help but feel like I'm gonna get lucky. Yeah, Night Settler, you open shops when you want something. Yeah, exactly, that makes sense to me. And why buy a shop when you can potion petition, right? Potion petition as well as bribe certain branches. Ooh, and actually, speaking of bribing again, we have Snake this time around. So we could bribe Snake if we wanted. Huh. Could be interesting. Would make us miss out on some experience, but wouldn't be the end of the world. Nope. Let's just head back upstairs. Unfortunately, cats can't buy HP. Yeah, and then Spindar mentioned the Amulet of Vitality, which is a source of HP at the very least, which is true. So ideally, we could find something like that. I don't know if I'd switch to it right away. I guess it also has regen, right? And regen is very strong on a fast monster or a fast character, because you're able to actually regain your health slightly faster as you run away. I've only bribed once, wasn't super impressed. So you see, it can definitely work that way. It's one of those random chance things that you can just absolutely get slapped around by the odds. But there are certain situations that I think it's absolutely almost necessary to bribe in, and most specifically Zot. If you have like 9,000, preferably more like 12,000 gold going into Zot, I'm usually saving up all my money, especially in a 3-rune run. I'm saving up all my money to just Zot or bribe my way through all of Zot. If you can get an army of Orbs of Fire and Draconians at your side or at your back, it can be absolutely incredible work for sure. And yeah, Gozag for you is basically Potion, Petition, and Gold Confuse. That's sufficient enough to be an amazing god. Yeah, definitely. Definitely both very, very powerful abilities. But okie dokie, this is interesting. So many of our stairs are right by Francis, which is not fair. Why are we fighting Francis already? I don't understand. Because, yeah, we took a brief peek here, but Iron Shot, that's just going to kill us. Throw Icicle, let's see, 3d23. That's 69. So it wouldn't kill us with our resistances. So that's nice. Took me way longer to think of 69 is greater than 58, but half of 69 is better. But that iron shot would be absolutely brutal. And I don't think we'll be prepared to handle Francis, at least not for the near future here. Unless we completely buffed ourselves up and got exceptionally lucky on a whole bunch of rolls, which is not something you generally want to rely on completely. It can be nice when it happens, but not reliable. Which means our D12 is kind of tough. I guess we could head down this stairway and see if we can't do a bit of trickle-down work. This could kill us. Oh, it didn't? Okay. I'll take it. And now we're in business, because we just have to run away from this buddy as much as we can. Find not a shaft or a hatch upstairs, but I'd rather have a true stairway here. So what I should have done before going down those stairs was activate Ice Form, give us that extra bit of defensive capability in terms of AC. But we didn't, so here we are, and we got fortunate enough to survive our encounter. But we're definitely in danger against a Hydra, even with our increased AC. There we go. Whew. Closer than I otherwise might have liked, but not too bad, all things considered. And now down here there are Melii. Oh my gosh. Game, why did you make my D12 so absolutely brutal? Both entrances, or two entrances, are right by Francis. And this one is absolutely filled to the brim with some unavoidable attackers. Could be getting smitten by BO, and who do the Melii follow? It wouldn't be Fedhas, even though that kind of makes sense, right? That actually probably makes the most sense. Does anyone know off the top of their head which deity the Melii are priests of? Could always be just something like McLeb. Never can rule out that. Okie dokie. Our orc entrance is also down below, so we can't go into orc right now. Do we want to just start heading through some of our S branches? We could even try the last floor of Lair, depending on which ending we get there. Well. I was definitely hoping that we could explore some more of our dungeon. We potentially could. I mean, Francis can't follow us off first blush each and every time. Like, where do I think they ended up? They blinked from here out this way somewhere. Let's take a peek. Okay, let's just be very careful. And if worse comes to worse, we can chain up some teleports and get out of it. But I would like to continue my journey, not be completely caught on a lurch here. Stone arrows hitting a lot harder than I otherwise might like. Bark Priest also not as much of a threat as they used to be, to say the least, but still a precursor to worse things. Ooh, an amulet of regeneration there. It's not quite the amulet of vitality, but it still might be interesting to think about switching off to that. D-dum. We've also found a decent number of our downstairs, which is actually pretty solid. We could just skip this floor for now. In fact, I think that's about the spot I'm in now. So let's go down here first. Nice. It's always a good thing when we can at least gain entrance to a floor without immediately scared for our life. A pyromancer is interesting. We definitely want to split up these fights as much as possible, because that does unfortunately directly counter us. So much of what we work on here is ice related. So take a look. Statue form, still not coming down too fast, but it's on its way. And let's see what else we find. Don't like a centaur warrior. That's not great. Would have been hard to run away from too, so we kind of just ate it there and went for the fight, hoping that we'd get some good rolls, which we did indeed. Six-headed Hydra, we have technically proven we can fight, but it didn't go well. Yeah, see, that's a bad start. But even if we can deal a decent amount of damage through our ice beasts, holy crap. That ice beast is definitely the real MVP. Well done, friend. Absolutely stellar. Ooh, some more spells. Ignite Poison and Mephitic Cloud. Interesting, and an Ignite Poison is already castable too. No OTR yet, though, I believe. No. Mephitic Cloud... These don't count as poisonous clouds in that way. Right? Let's find out. How do you describe them at the very least? They are noxious. And it does take resistance to poison to beat them. It's been too long since I did this combo. Can I blow up Mephitic Clouds? Because that's one of the beautiful things about Ignite Poison, is combined with certain spells, it can be an absolutely killer combo, even against enemies that are resistant to poison, because in that case, you just surround them in clouds of fire. It's that easy. Yes, you can. Perfect. Okay, I was worried I was misremembering. I thought it was wistful thinking on my part, but that is definitely a combo that interests me. We have only 5 spell levels left, so I guess at some point here we do have to start training spell casting. That's important. And yeah, Stone Arrow is also decent as a general spell. Definitely is. Yeah, for something that's element... What's the word I am looking for? Has a lack of any elemental damage type, I guess is the other way that we could phrase it, since my brain is immediately failing me at the crucial moment. Okay, it is just you alone. Anytime I see one of those buddies, I start to immediately get suspicious that Josephine is hanging out somewhere just around the corner. Not so today. Hello, my unseen friend. Please notice me. Perfect. Let's extend our transformation. And now we'll let it expire because we're going to potentially be fighting a Pyromancer. Is Pyromancer going to take out my allies or no? Ouch. Ouch, ouch. Well, in that case, we will run away. Do our best here. The flame elementals accidentally killed the slime creature there, I think. Love to see it. Can heal up real quick. Didn't even have to go upstairs, which is solid. Slightly worried about what we would find. And okay, there's just the Pyromancer from that crowd at the very least. I like to bring in summons against anything that petrifies because it becomes a really great way to avoid taking too much damage after becoming completely frozen, because they'll keep wailing away at your enemy. Boulder Beetle. You son of a gun. At least they're susceptible to poison. I'm just gonna load you up. Try and stay out of sight range. Maybe bring some bodies in. I'm so sorry, Ice Beast. In fact, I wasn't thinking about this earlier when I was so afraid of running into a Boulder Beetle. I was kind of forgetting that with summons, it's not quite as much of a problem. Still not free, necessarily. Also, calcifying dust, no thank you. However, it does give us a nice opportunity to potentially poison some of these sons of guns. How fast are you, sir? Yeah, you're not fast. I didn't think so. So we could try and poison them. It does work slowly but surely. I guess we should actually just learn Ignite Poison because we have poisonous vapors. I'm kind of stupid sometimes. That just makes sense. Just good thinking there. But can bring in a friend here maybe, see how they fare. The answer is not great. Ignore the Pyromancer. Excuse me, don't notice. Oh gosh, they noticed. And let us instead head to this stairway here. I'm gonna head up real quick. Try not to leave this stairway if possible, because who knows what Francis is doing now. But let's learn Ignite Poison. Ugly thing is not my favorite here, but we're able to put up a wall of ice beasts as quickly as we can. And let's try this one more time. So, oh crap, we're vulnerable to fire. I'm actually going to take off my AC ring in exchange for my fire ring. And then, let's ignite poison. Let's poison you up. It's still not resistant to fire, we just got rid of our vulnerability, so definitely scary to say the least, but I will take it. Reset there. And now you, sir. I think I do want to do some combo plays here. So try and get you poisoned up, and then it's hard to get them poisoned up to this state without losing sight of them, unfortunately. Definitely want to just run away during the hallway section. Double poison you, blow it up. Slowly but surely dealing some chip damage, but I'm not sure it's quite effective enough. I guess we could pair this with some wand blasts. Could even have checked the polymorph here, chance to effect, never mind. Also, wow, that's a high hit dice monster. Becoming Draconian Storm Dragons or Quicksilver Ooze? Oof. No, thank you. Well, in that case, I guess we'll probably end up using some Ice Blast against them. The issue with that is we have to let them close the distance a bit to do so. And we never want to be running through a hallway and get caught up in the petrifying clouds. I'll let you get a step closer. What's your total health here? 77. So if we get some good rolls here, it should do the trick fairly quickly. Which is good, because I don't want to use too many Ice Blast charges, ideally at the very least. In fact, let's poison you. And then Ignite Poison is a level 3 spell indeed. Perfect. Ignite it. Perfect, there we go.